Welcome to the Fleet Geeks podcast. We're here to help develop fleet and transport professionals. Do you want to progress and develop your skills and knowledge? We promise to bring lively conversation and debate around interesting issues and keep you bang up to date with changes in our awesome industry. The Fleet Geeks are a community of professionals, and if you enjoy the podcast, why not join the discussion for free in the Fleet Geek community over on Facebook?
Okay, so the red light's rolling again, and all three of us are here once again, and we're going to do a quick one here because it's not long since we've recorded a podcast around roller brake testing, and actually we had a bit of a brainwave whilst we were doing it. Why not just have a bit of a chat about what we look for on maintenance sheets, PMI sheets, and top tips on things to look out for. So I think this will be quite an interesting, quick little bit of value for listeners. So guys, what sort of stuff are we looking for PMI sheets?
Well, first of all, vehicle registration and date, massively important.
You'd be surprised.
Exactly,
You'd be surprised.
To space or not to space, by the way, that's a big question, isn't it? Space, so that's always gripped my shit a little bit. So I don't know, ZZ 72 space last three digits or not space.
No, definitely space.
I'd go no.
Ooh, yeah. So it's not.
What about you? Decided vote on this.
I'll be honest, no space for me as well.
Oh, no, I'm definitely space.
Yeah, there you go, see.
God, you're going to tell
Personal
me next
preference.
no Continental Sevens.
What's that? No Continental Seven?
Seven with a stripe, with a line.
Oh, right,
I do that.
I do that. No,
I always used to, and I got out of the habit.
Brexit.
But even my brother used to do a strike through a zero.
Yeah. Oh, we strike through a zero, hasn't it? Yeah. A lot of foreign language students I see will do a strike through a zero as a.
Yeah. In reality, if you want to be exact, it does make it clear it's a zero, though, doesn't it?
It does, rather than
yeah. And the same with striking a 7 as well, because it does make it clear, because a 7 could sometimes be
a 1, 2 or a 1. But so why no space then?
Yeah.
Why am I the only space?
I think it looks neater. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
OCD.
I think there's less margin for error.
Oh,
so if we just said no space, it's something less to have to remember. I guess is how it operates in my head. That's I reckon we should do a poll for that. That is a poll.
There's two. We can get two out of this, because space or no space. And then the other one for me is, how do you remember a vehicle? Like, I know from years ago, if I see an old vehicle that I once had in a fleet, I would know from the registration number. Definitely, but I would know, like, let's say ZZT. The letters. That's how I would know it. I don't know if everybody's the same.
Yeah, I'll remember vehicles. Yeah, because often the front end is like if you got sister vehicles, and are they sister or brother vehicles? I would say they're sister vehicles, aren't they?
All sorts here.
But I was going to say we've opened a right can of worms. So we thought this was going to be a quick one. But anyway, so like you might have ZZ72, and then you've got a suite of vehicles. A family of sisters.
You put them all in a block.
Of beautiful sisters, all together with the same starting 4 digits, and then you just refer to them on the last 3.
ZZT, ZZL, ZZR,
and then it always gets me on edge, because if you so they'll miss out if you hit like an I, there won't be an I.
Yeah, no.
So you kind of have to jump one, and that gets me a bit on edge.
But that's
so
why
you got
I'm a spacer,
G to H and then to J, and no I in the middle.
No, that's why I'm a spacer, because I just read the last 3.
Well, there you go. Your argument's winning at the minute already. Back to the service sheet.
Anyway, back to
service
the
sheet.
Back to the
It'd be
value.
interesting to know what you think about that.
Yeah.
Are you a spacer or not a spacer?
To space or not to space?
That is the question.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so
PMIs.
Yeah, also the name of the garage that's done the work on the top of the service sheet. I think that's really important. The people that have done it.
Yeah.
Great for an audit trail, and obviously then all the check items. They're generally all muchness, aren't they? Really.
Is it the responsibility of a TM to ensure that his maintenance provider, maintenance provider, I need to make sure I'm gender neutral there, is it their responsibility to ensure that their garage is including everything on a PMI that's required, or is it the garage's responsibility?
Oh, it's the operator all the time, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's something to check, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Just on a very basic level, is to ensure that your maintenance provider is actually checking everything that should be on the PMI.
Should be on the PMI. You've submitted that as a part of your application process, so you should be using the same form that you submitted. So definitely down to the TM, and to make sure all the relevant boxes are ticked.
Yeah.
Which often aren't.
No, you do see some
NAs, NAs or some empty boxes.
Yeah.
Very often you'll see empty boxes, isn't it?
And I think that's the same with the driver walk around check as well. Make sure you've it's appropriate. Make sure the walk around check is appropriate to the vehicle.
Yeah, and it actually covers everything that is required to be covered. Okay, cool. So you're checking that. What else? What else do we look for?
We have the probably the brake pad thickness and stuff like that. So that could raise potential issues going forward. Mm-hmm. You can look at that, and if it's got 20% wear, you can perhaps know the next couple of PMIs that's going to be an issue that's coming forward. Yeah,
and it's worth checking them against previous ones as well to make sure that we're looking at the wear rate.
I'm sure we've all seen on tyres as well as brake pads. We've all seen them grow from one inspection to another. So that means, if you started off with a 5mm thickness, and then the next inspection you have 10mm thickness, the
absolute result, isn't it? Yeah,
brake pads that have
got some magic rubber.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hi, it's Pete from Flagship Partners. We're really proud to sponsor the Fleet Geeks podcast. Flagship Partners offer a range of consultancy and training services to ensure that our customers remain compliant and have the best possible knowledge to be able to fulfill their work. If you're interested in support with any of our safety, HR or compliance services, or you want to train to be a transport manager or need driver CPC training, give us a call today. Well, non-friction, what's the opposite of friction? I don't know what the opposite of friction is. We're getting really physics now.
Slippery.
But what's the opposite of friction? To add rubber to a tyre, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but really important. Another thing with the actual defects itself is looking through for driver reportable defects as well. That's massive, isn't it?
That's a big focus for the DVSA now, isn't it?
It is, it should be for operators as well, because... Yeah. And unfortunately, it's education, because most drivers know that bulb's out, but they've gone in there, I'm on service tonight, and I just tell drivers, great, you told the service desk about it, but just note it down as well. It needs to be recorded. Defect, yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
What would you do with that information, though? So a driver detectable defect found by your maintenance provider, what's the next step?
Note that you spoke to the driver.
Yeah, I just tend to have a chat with the driver initially and make a note of it, and then the next one, if it happens again quite rapidly, you might be looking at a letter of concern or something like that. And then you just sort of escalate it from there, don't you? But it's a big part of falls now, isn't it? That's something the auditors look for falls. It will be a part of earned recognition to ensure, obviously managing driver reportable defects is a whole other podcast where we look at gate checks and things, but this then falls part of it. This is kind of one of those crossover things, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a good tool to have, isn't it, to manage your drivers, really?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of things to think about, and I think making sure that so one of the other things, which is really simple, but making sure that the technician has actually signed off the service sheet, and that his supervisor, the competent person has signed it off. And
that the repairs have been completed, not just... Sometimes you'll get reported wrote on a service sheet. You're like, who's that reported to?
Yeah.
So the operator's got to be reading that, because although it says reported, that is their reporting.
Monitored.
Everything's monitored.
Oil leak monitor. Continue to monitor.
Yeah, it's either a defect or not. When's it a semi-defect? And I think that's when you have to have a robust conversation with your maintenance provider around how they're categorising defects. Definitely. And what you're willing to accept and aren't willing to accept.
Yeah, I used to have a very dear old guy I used to work with, and he used to always say, "See how it develops."
Yeah.
And that's a classic one. But is that a defect or not? Is it just a hard defect?
Technicians should be taught to, I think, write. For example, roadworthy. Please check at next service.
Generally, when they sign it off, it's just a signature of roadworthy.
They are signing that say that it's roadworthy, but I think it's important they use the right language when they're writing defects, isn't it? And clarify what the defect is, because what is that defect?
What even is that? Repaired. What would you do to it then? Repaired.
Yeah.
That.
I know it's been a long time since I've been anywhere near a workshop, and you might say thankfully, but I don't know how electronic systems develop these days, but would you not expect... could we not expect in our industry, and I know it happens with aircraft, but would you not expect in our industry that if a vehicle goes in for an inspection, that the technician has a view of the previous inspection?
Different systems you would, wouldn't you? If you use something like R2C...
You would have that,
You would, the digital system. But whether they do or not is a different
But I think with paper systems, they're just starting fresh, aren't they? I think a lot of the time they're going to get it. I think they're going in blind, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't walk. I mean, presumably, again, I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't have a clue. But when you walk into your doctor's, presumably, what the doctor's staring at on the screen, I've no idea what he's actually staring at. But it could be eBay or something, or even worse, tractors. Looking at tractors. I'm presuming he's looking at your medical history. I don't know. You'd expect the same for
When he looks surprised to see you, that's a worry, isn't it? Oh, you made it this far.
Oh, you've had a haircut.
I didn't expect to see you after the last visit.
Okay, fab. So, I think it's important just to when you do get those service sheets, have a look at and double check the tacho calibration date against your record.
Yeah,
Does it
definitely.
match? That's your opportunity. Just to. It is worth just going through it line by line, isn't it? I really think.
And the problem with an electronic system, when the maintenance provider's uploaded it, someone doesn't have to look at it, do they? No. Unfortunately.
No, they don't.
So make sure you are actually looking at them as well, because they do give you so much information.
Yeah, I think I know some TMs will like print digital ones off and sign them to say that they've checked them.
Previous employer, we went for a phase of signing the service sheets when we got them back, just to prove that we'd looked at them.
Yeah, I feel like
it's
that's
a little bit over the top.
I feel like that's a little bit overkill. I don't
long,
think that's a requirement. But I think it's definitely it's your responsibility as a transport manager to ensure that service sheet.
You'd want to know the condition of your vehicles, don't you?
It's so easy, I suppose, with electronic systems to just drag that file and electronically drag that file and drop it into the vehicle's maintenance file without actually opening it and looking at it. That's the danger, isn't it?
To be fair, some are uploaded directly from the workshop
directly
as well.
to the
So as long as it's a green box, that's been uploaded,
and it's done. Yeah.
So it's vitally important to read them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic.
Part and parcel of the transport manager's job.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, okay, thanks. I think we're open to feedback. What do you do? What do you do? What do you look out for? What are your top tips? Drop them in the comments. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Thank you very much.
See you later.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please share with your friends and colleagues too. Join us for free on Facebook with the Fleet Geeks community for transport and fleet managers. Fleet Geeks offers ongoing professional development, networking and mentoring too. So get in touch with me, Pete Rushmer, on any social media platform to find out more.